If you need to do a reset and you're experiencing these thyroid symptoms, it either means that you are only feeling those thyroid-like symptoms because that your body is in starvation mode and we fix it and you don't need meds for that situation. Or it means, it can mean both. It can mean you had a hypothyroid and you need to do a reset, or it could just mean that you need meds. For most people, not likely that you're going to hit 48 the first time. If you do, phenomenal. If you don't get frustrated, because whatever you land on is probably going to be significantly good, right? Also, when you progress yourself really quickly, you're going to run into more resistance, right? Naturally, your body's going to give you resistance. Marilyn, I see that you just took your first injection. You were on it for 4 weeks at 0.25, gained 3 pounds. I don't hear that too often.
I took my first injection 4 weeks ago, and I'm not getting it from them anymore. My first injection, yeah. And then my last injection was like the 19th.
Yeah.
And so now my next time that I'll take it, it will be from you guys.
Yeah. Okay. And you feel pretty confident you gained 3 pounds? Is that what? Okay. Okay. I know. I know it's hard to miss when you're expecting loss, like 1 pound the other way. You're like, I get it. I get it. Okay. So same question for you, calorie wise. Do you happen to know how many calories you think you average per day? And if you don't know, it's okay.
I don't know, but I know that last year in August, I started Optivia. Have you heard of that? And I was on that for 9 months. I lost weight on it. I was 195 and then I got down to 151. And then I stalled and got off of it in May. And then I just started gaining really quickly. And so that's why I started the GLP-1 from a doctor like 4 weeks ago. But then I ended up still gaining 3 pounds.
So a lot of these programs that are very much eat this, follow this, take this. The problem is they end up starving people, putting them on their body in a situation where the metabolism slows down, and the moment they stop, you go back to normal eating and you start gaining weight pretty rapidly. So we're going to set you guys up for so much success in the future, so that none of these programs ever do that too, because you'll never need to use another program. But so if you guys remember that section on the Welcome to the Weight Loss Forum where I talk about the calorie counting experiment. So you guys probably know by now, I think counting calories for life is awful and really unsustainable. The truth of the matter is, if you didn't have an issue with it, it would be a nice statistical advantage. But that's the problem, is it's really tedious and impractical. So my whole basis is so that you never have to do that more than the calorie counting experiment. So I used to say once in your life, spend about a month, learn how to count calories. Now I actually am starting to shift towards 1 month out of every year. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like it's every year you do it again. Maybe you don't have to do it for a whole month the second time. You do it for 2 more weeks, it recalibrates. It's like a whole year of your life has passed. So you count your calories for 2 more weeks and you go, gut check, reality. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot. And then you pick it up faster. So it's a nice skill. You count your calories for this short period of time and you develop some subconscious awareness, if you will, like an ability to know and unlikely massively overeat or unlikely massively undereat, because you have a representation of what it looks like without having to be so specific and monotonous. So definitely want you guys, if it's been over a year since you've really counted your calories, to go ahead and do that just to recalibrate and get some consciousness. And so Marilyn, yeah, that's what I want you to do, because it sounds like we need to recalibrate and get an idea. And then once you, like 2, 3, 4 days, once you're counting, you're going to be able to look at that, let's say 4 days from now, and go, okay, I know how many calories I'm averaging. Once you can tell us how much you think you've been averaging, shoot us a text message, and then we're going to confirm whether or not you will actually need to do a reset.
Okay.
So you're like in this quasi category, because I don't know if you're going to tell me 2,000 or I don't know if you're going to tell me 1,000. And that's a big difference. So you'll text us, we'll let you know, and then we'll establish your reset.
Okay.
Cool. Any questions for your starting point, Marilyn?
No, other than just I'm supposed to count my calories and just wait I haven't had my medical call yet. I had my labs done on Friday.
Okay. Usually labs quest has been a little bit, so your call should be a week or a week and a half after that with the medical team.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. All right, Aaron. Hello,
Yes.
hello.
Hello?
You said you were on a GLP-1? You are taking one right now, is that right?
Me?
Yes.
No.
No, okay. And let's see, so no GLP. And have you been on any sort of recent attempt in the last month to restrict calories, increase exercise, or is everything for you just starting now?
Last year I tried, they put me on amphetamine and that kind of worked, but I have no thyroid. It's been a game to try and figure out what I'm supposed to be doing.
When was your thyroid removed?
2019,
Do you know why they removed it?
I have Graves' disease, and basically I didn't have a whole lot of time to even think about it. I finally I was complaining for 3 years that something's wrong, and then finally someone listened to me, and then within a week I was in surgery having it out because you need this out now. My resting heart rate was averaging 150.
Oh my gosh, holy crap. I'm guessing you were massively underweight too at that time, or
Oh no, I was
really?
gaining weight. I was eating like crazy. I was eating like nonstop.
Yeah, that's a rare thing to not be underweight, but yeah, and that's what they specialize in. I don't see cases like that. I've never actually seen that before. It's usually underweight with Graves, but okay, glad that got handled. And you're on medication now. Are you on thyroid
I,
medication now?
I am, but I'm curious because I've already seen my results. I haven't had my consult, but my TSH is really high. I don't know if I've never actually looked at my results since my thyroid's been out. They just tell me. I'm curious.
Let me ask you, those symptoms that we talked about earlier, does it sound like if you look at the last month of your life, do you have half or more of these symptoms? Difficulty
It's,
losing weight. Go ahead.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say they're all coming back from it. I'm starting to feel like right before I had it out, I'm super tired, brain fog, like just all of
constipation,
that.
feel it. Yeah, so something's off. It could just be that, because that does happen sometimes in the world of thyroid management, is your body changes and your dose requirements change and there's multiple factors, and discuss that with our medical team. If you want us to take over, we can. If you want to keep it with them, it's just you have to make that
No,
decision.
I would love to have someone else. I hate my doctor. He doesn't listen. He doesn't nothing. He just, oh, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I can't stand that either. And so I try to make this as personal as I can with our medical team and everything like that. So yeah, we'd love to help you and make it more smooth. With us, our thyroid management, our hormone management guys, you get labs quarterly, you get a call with somebody, you can text us whenever you want. It's compared to what I know is out there, you are paying out of pocket versus insurance. So they'll go over all that with you. But like I said, with this program, at least for the 3 months that you're on, or however much you signed up with, the management's free. You're just going to, and the labs, you're just going to pay for the medication. And then after you finish this coaching, you can continue the thyroid, or you can bundle it with our sex hormones as well, like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Okay, fantastic. So, Aaron, do you happen to know how many calories you're averaging?
I would say the last few months it's been bad, probably 2,000 to 2,500.
Okay, that's not horrible, believe it or not. It sounds like a lot in the GLP-1 space because people are barely eating on that, but no, that's not bad. I'd say you're fine. No reset needed. You can flow right into the program.
Okay.
Fantastic. All right. Do we have Christy in the house? Yes, Christy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. If I'm reading correctly, you've been doing this with us for a while. We just never got you on the intro coaching call. Is that right?
Yes. And I was on, I think it starts with an S. It's a compound prior to your guys's program. And
Semaglutide.
yes, I was on that for about 3 to 4 months and did not lose nothing, but they started me off was it 0.5? And then I ended at 2.5. Not much education there, just here, this is how you take it. There you go, out the door type of thing. So that's when I found you on the TikTok and I was impressed. I was like, oh, I didn't know all this stuff. But my issue is I didn't know I had to fast because I've been on your program for 4 weeks now,
Yeah.
injections and no weight loss.
Yeah.
I want to get educated on how
Totally.
to reset my body.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna suggest. I think the fasting isn't a requirement, but it is when we get there, because I just trying to do it without fasting is just really challenging. But fasting won't override the need to reset. So that's the starting point. And then there might be other issues too. So we try to find out as much as we possibly can. Okay. So what dose of tirzepatide are you on right now?
2.5.
Okay, cool. So you're on the low dose, which is great.
Mhm.
And you've been on 2.5 for 4 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. And then that was straight after semaglutide. There was no break?
Yes, there was a 2-month break.
Okay. So
Mhm.
that was your reset from the medication. And let me ask you, when you started 2.5, did you notice anything like decreases in food chatter, anything?
Yes, the amount of the servings that I was eating was less.
Yeah. Okay. And that tirzepatide is great. So 4 weeks now. And do you know how many calories you think you've been averaging in the last 4 weeks, or you haven't been counting?
Yes, I have been counting in between 1,800 to 2. And that's one of those weeks I was on vacation out of town.
Yeah. So that's not bad. Yeah. So I would say no reset needed, actually, because you already did that big 2-month break. Your
Okay.
your caloric intake, if 1,800 is to 2,000 is less than what you were eating before, metabolism's not downregulated. So now we just got to get you into the flow. We need to get into the flow, guys. And what the flow is doing, the primary thing, and I know if you've seen me on live, you've heard me harp on this, so I'm not going to repeat a lot of what you guys know, but the primary goal for lasting weight loss, that's going to be the most important for the most amount of people in my program, is fixing insulin resistance. The net effect of being insulin resistant creates hyperinsulinemia, which is essentially just chronically elevated insulin levels. And you will never achieve lasting weight loss if you have elevated insulin levels, because when your insulin levels are elevated, that's a powerful signal that's telling your body to store fat despite how much you eat. And this is where people get so confused, and they say, if we just get into a caloric deficit, yes, in the short term, that's true. But if you have the caloric deficit telling your body, I got to lose weight because that's what the energy balance is, but then you have the counter signal from insulin saying store, grow, see how confusing it is for your body in that situation. But the hormones always win. And so it ends up slowing down your metabolism and or skyrocketing your hunger, because the hormone signal always wins. And so we got to fix that. And that's what flow does. And there's other roadblocks too, but that's the big one. Okay, so now let's get into fasting. And so we're going to break down the 3 stages. You've already read through this, so we're going to fly through this part. Please stop me with any questions, guys. So the first stage is intermittent fasting. You guys can all start this even during the reset. This is taking your daily eating window and compressing it into 8 hours. A lot of people are already doing that. It's usually not too difficult. It's when we get into the stage 2 and stage 3. So stage 2 is when you first do your first 24-hour fast. That's like dinner to dinner. Once you're comfortable with that, you add a second one, say 3 days later, no more than twice in a week. Once you're comfortable with doing 2 24-hour fasts in a week, then you can bump it up to the flow stage. The flow stage is basically, if you ate dinner Monday night, it would be going to bed Tuesday night without dinner, waking up. Now you're in that 34-hour range-ish. Once you can do that once, you no longer do that twice a week because that's too much. You bump it down to once a week, and you keep increasing that week by week till you get to 48. Somebody earlier mentioned something which just makes me laugh every time I hear that, because I have the same personality. I'm just going to go for 48. I love that, by the way. No problem with that. Just as long as you understand that's going to be, for most people, not likely that you're going to hit 48 the first time. If you do, phenomenal. If you don't, get frustrated, because whatever you land on is probably going to be significantly good, right? Also, when you progress yourself really quickly, you're going to run into more resistance, right? Naturally, your body's going to give you resistance. The normal kind of resistance as you guys progress yourself that I want you to push yourself through to a certain point, tired, brain fog, hungry, hangry, things like that. The time where you would stop, and this almost only happens if you're a diabetic on a bunch of meds, but it could happen, so I mentioned it, is like actual hypoglycemia. So if you're feeling just cold sweats, confusion, dizziness, exhaustion, again, this has almost never happened other than a few diabetics. If it does, you end your fast, you let us know, because at that point, then you have something wrong with your body's blood sugar handling, and we got to probably get you a blood glucose monitor or something. But that's really all I want you and need you to be aware of. So the main takeaway from the fasting is that we are, you guys are progressing yourself through the stages of fasting at your own rate. You guys each have your own excitement levels, like Julie is ready to go. You know, you guys each have your own stress levels, right? That's a variable to consider. And then you guys have an understanding of where your body and your health is at. If you do have a ton of stress in your life and you're aware of it, but you're fighting through it because you're a trooper, I commend you. That's awesome. You should never wait for the world to be perfect before you do anything, right? That's what I always say. But if you are under a lot of stress, maybe take it a little slower as you progress yourself, because the increase in fasting on your body is an increase in stress. And each of your bodies does have a threshold of how much stress it can tolerate. So use that as a variable to gauge as you are progressing yourself through fasting. But other than that, other than deciding for you whether you want to take 1 week or 6 weeks to get to the flow stage, 48 hours per week, that's your choice. We will be here. I will be here to guide you, course correct. If anything goes awry, you know how to reach out to us and things like that. We're going to talk about food and supplements next, but any questions about progressing yourself through the stages of fasting? As a reminder, if you are in a reset, do not go past intermittent. So Julie, I know you said you were eager to get into the deep fast. Did we say if you were in a reset, Julie? Oh, you're muted.
We didn't talk yet.
Okay. That might be the little question mark. Okay, perfect. We'll get back to that and establish that. Any other questions, guys, on progressing through the stages of fasting? Okay, fantastic. Meredith, you are excited for some sustainable weight loss, and it's been a journey, hasn't it been for all of us, right? This crazy weight loss journey. And you said you have or have not been on GLP-1s before?
I have not.
Okay, fantastic. So in the last 2 months, have you been actively trying to lose weight, restricting calories, exercising more, or everything just starting now?
If you are enjoying watching these clips from my coaching calls and my community, guys, I have thousands of like-minded individuals who are kicking ass. Click that link, I'll put it in the description of the video, where you can set up a free consultation to discuss exactly how my individuals are achieving lasting weight loss utilizing microdosing and intermittent use protocols. Now, back to the video.
Yeah, honestly, for the past year. So last year in April, I got meningitis. And then in the midst of all that, they told me that I had thyroidism.
Yeah.
So since then, I've just been gaining weight, but I've been working out. I've been dieting. I've done keto. I've tried carnivore. I restricted calories. And even in the midst of everything that I've tried, like I'm still gaining weight. Sometimes it'll slow down, but the progression is still there.
And when they diagnosed you with hypothyroid, did they prescribe?
Yeah, so I'm on levothyroxine right now.
And did you notice any improvements in symptoms? Obviously not the weight loss symptom, but this is where thyroid gets really confusing, because there's all the other symptoms would have been like brain fog, energy, constipation, feeling cold, achy body, hair loss. Did you have any of those symptoms before, and did any of them get better?
Yes, I did have those symptoms before. I would say my hair is a little better. I could tell that my hair was thinning. My mood has improved since being on medication.
Okay.
But I still have like achy body. I'm not as cold as I used to be.
Okay.
So it's give and take. Like some stuff is improving, but some stuff is still the same.
No, and look, it's hard to deny an immediate connection like that. You saw something, not as much as you would have wanted, obviously, but that means it was helpful. So either that means the rest of your symptoms are from something else, or it means that they didn't fully optimize your thyroid. But at least we know something, we can learn from that. So we include thyroid management. And so we did a functional thyroid panel on you. You have your medical call scheduled?
Yeah, so I had it this past Thursday, and the person I spoke with, they said that my TSH and my T4 were good, but we were still waiting to hear back for my T3.
Yeah. Okay. I do wonder if you need more T3. So in the Western medicine model, levothyroxine is a T4 only medication. They're relying on your body's ability to convert T4 into T3. T3 is the main active thyroid hormone. And so what ends up happening for a lot of people is they're not converting T4 as much as they could, and Western medicine misses that, like standard allopathic. So I have a hunch that your T3 might be low. And so if it is, you would need a whole different medication that insurance doesn't cover. It's called usually NP thyroid or Armor thyroid, or sometimes we even custom make it with the pharmacy, a certain blend. So you do get the management of that free, and you only pay the prescription. And then if you wanted to continue that afterwards, it'd be a separate program. So just a heads up for that.
Okay.
And we'll make sure we get an answer for you there so you can, make a decision.
Okay.
Okay. So do you happen to know how many calories you think you average per day? And if you never counted, it's okay if you have no clue.
No, I was counting. So I think I was about where I could see where at least my weight wouldn't increase weekly. It was like 1,300 calories.
Okay. So 1,300 is pretty light. So I would like to start with the reset. So for week one, your target caloric intake is going to be 1,500.
Okay.
And guys, if we establish right now that you need to do a reset, just make sure you re-watch that and reread that section, weight loss plateau and reset. I know it's a really long document, so I know how easy it could be to start going really fast as you work your way through it. So definitely recheck out the reset and the plateau. There's a really good video in there, and there's specific instructions of what you're doing during the reset. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Meredith, any questions on your starting point? We're going to talk about fasting and food and all that, but any questions about your plateau starting point?
No, that's straightforward.
Awesome. Thank you, Meredith. Okay, Amanda. So we're getting into it. You were recommended to us. Oh, your friend recommended to us. Cool. Let's see. Need to lose 30 pounds, high cholesterol, ongoing concerns about a thyroid issue. We just learned a lot right now about thyroid, and you had a thyroid panel with us. Have you had your medical call yet?
Yeah, I did. They said everything was fine, but they were still waiting on one result to come through.
God,
I don't remember, but nobody has said anything to me about it. And that was a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Can we see what happened with her last thyroid result?
Yeah, I'll take a look at it now.
Okay.
I would just like, if possible, a copy of my results, because I never got a copy of them too. Sorry.
Oh, we only send them if you ask. So
Yeah.
we don't send everything to everybody. So we can get you a full copy of the panel too as well.
Okay.
So this is interesting, right? So it'd be curious to see what happens with the T3. It's like really takes forever for that one panel to come in, but also too, whether or not you need to do a reset. So let's pay attention to those symptoms. So guys, if you need to do a reset and you're experiencing these thyroid symptoms, it either means that you are only feeling those thyroid-like symptoms because that your body is in starvation mode and we fix it and you don't need meds for that situation. Or it can mean both. It can mean you had a hypothyroid and you need to do a reset, or it could just mean that you need meds. And so this is what we're trying to work our way through and navigate around. We'll know a little bit more when we see that final lab, Amanda. But then also I'm going to ask you the same questions. Have you been on GLP-1 yet or no?
No, never.
Okay. And do you happen to know how many calories you think you've been averaging?
So I just started counting after my initial medical call, and like my fitness pal said that I should keep my calories around 1,400 a week. I know I was eating more than that prior to, just because I didn't realize how much I was actually eating.
Crazy when you start counting calories, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have been around that for the last couple of weeks, but really haven't seen a difference in anything.
Okay. You were eating more. You don't know how much. You went down to 1,400. It was obviously a big enough difference for you to be like, okay, this is less. But but you're not noticing no change in weight.
No.
Okay. So
but I also, like, personally, I had a hysterectomy 8 years ago when I hit 30. So I have endometriosis, which I know can cause, and they prescribed for me to take the anti-inflammatory medication, but I haven't started that yet because I was waiting for this call.
Yeah, so, I mean, in general, corticosteroids, anti-inflammatory medications, there's a time and place for sure, but understand that they come with consequences and GI issues, and not necessarily direct weight gain, but indirectly they can contribute to weight gain. And it's definitely something that you have to weigh out the kind of pros and cons, ask them why they think you need it. Is it like something like a specific reason, or is it just you're just trying to be general? They act like these things don't have consequences, so then I should just take them.
You all recommended it, the naltrexone.
Oh, you're talking about our recommendations. Yeah, so that's so low dose naltrexone is
sorry.
It's okay.
So
Totally.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Naltrexone's awesome, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, it is anti-inflammatory, but it's the only anti-inflammatory medication that's actually
Yeah.
holistic in nature. So LDN, guys, if you have an inflammatory condition, if you have an autoimmune disease, take the LDN. You get the cover, you get the management for free in our program. And it really is awesome. Not necessarily something for life, but it's something for the next year or two while you make some massive improvements in your health. And then you can see where you go from there.
Yeah. So I'm going to start that.
Perfect. That could be the missing piece for the lack of weight loss. I would say since you were on a higher intake, you probably don't need to do a reset yet, but I do want you to go up in calories. So I want I want you to go up to 1700 because I want to see what happens to your weight. It's not a reset per se, but I want her to get up to 1700. And if she doesn't gain any weight, we'll go up one more time. And then she'll start the fasting and then keep the calorie deficits in her fasting rather than every day.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. Any questions for your starting point, Amanda?
No, am I right to consider 122 grams of protein? I think that's what I calculated based on some of the math that you guys had. So I just want to make sure that I'm hitting that.
Yeah, super. So we'll get more into food in a second, but basically,
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. Between your current weight and your target body weight, that's the range. So it's a really loose range, but at least your target weight up to your total weight right now in grams of protein.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So Julie, let's ask you these initial questions so we can establish whether or not you're in a reset. Do you happen to know how many calories you think you are averaging?
I'm pretty sure it's pretty high,
Cut.
but I don't know exactly.
When's the last time you've ever counted calories?
Oh gosh, it's been a long time.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's do the calorie counting experiment so we can recalibrate.
Mhm.
And if you confirm in a couple days it's 1800 or 2000 or something like that, text us, let us know. We'll confirm no reset needed. But if you do this and you find out it's actually pretty low, let us know. And like I said earlier, if we do establish reset, as much as you're excited to go long fasting, don't do that yet because that will work against you. It's super important. Yeah, because if you think about it, the reset is to speed up the metabolism. What speeds it up is caloric surplus over time, not deficit. And fasting is the most intense deficit you can have. So that's
I've been doing the intermittent fasting for probably, because I saw your TikTok a while ago, already doing that. So
and that's okay. Yep. Yeah. Because you can still do a reset and keep your calories as high as we need to for the target during the reset within that eating window. That's like the most perfect scenario is increasing your calories during the window because your body takes like a daily total. It's not relative to time. But you start getting past 24-hour period and you're fasting, that's a pretty massive deficit.
I'm diabetic now. I'm taking metformin. I have in the past done T3. They even did NP thyroid at one point. But honestly, no matter what I take, supplement, whatever, I feel no differences whatsoever. So I stopped taking the T3 for a while. I am actually on progesterone as to bioidentical progesterone, but I don't feel any different no matter what I do. It's frustrating.
No, for sure. For sure. So you stopped taking thyroid hormone, you said?
Right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. When did you stop that?
Probably 3 months ago.
And no change at all when you stopped it. Pretty strange because T3 is pretty powerful. T4, I can get it because you're not converting to T3, but T3 is T3. So that's pretty interesting. And you have your medical call with the thyroid panel to review?
Not yet. No, I have I actually had gotten blood work through a mastermind I was in and then signed up for this and realized, I probably just double did something, but they all looked pretty good. I was shocked to see testosterone was pretty low.
Yeah, just make sure if you need thyroid, we get you on it. But if you don't need it, then you don't need it. That's just a crucial thing. Okay, fantastic. So you'll let us know, and then we'll establish if we need to do a reset. Okay, cool. So let's get into food, guys. This is actually much easier than many people make it. The one thing that Western medicine, when it comes to all these different lifestyle interventions, even they agree, they missed the boat on so many other things, but they do agree that eating processed foods is slowly killing us. And it's unfortunate, right? You got to remember restaurants and big processing food companies, they make their money by making it taste delicious and making it as affordable as possible. And the scientists that are figuring out how to do that are not considering your health as a priority. That's just the way it is. I think it's unrealistic to say 100% clean, although I do respect Anybody wanting to do that, because that's amazing. But my always concern with going that hardcore in anything is the unlikelihood of actually sticking to it, and then the potential for a massive rebound. This is why I don't recommend keto long-term either, because it sounds amazing when you're doing really good, and then 9 months later, grandma's busting out some delicious cookies and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And it's just not a cool place to be. So 90-10 is what I recommend. And I want to get you to even more sustainable than that in the future. I want to get you to 85-15 or even 80-20. So the only modification to, and this is called the anti-processed food diet, which paleo, Mediterranean, if you need categories, are great representations of this anti-processed food diet. And there's probably some foreign food too that's not in those categories. Again, if it's not processed, A-OK. Fruits, vegetables, legumes, meats. That's what we're talking here. The only modification to that for the first 2 to 3 months is going to be going keto. Nothing crazy. You don't need to test your ketone markers, although you could. Super cool. I just try to give you guys as least homework as possible. So not required, but 50 grams net carbs. If you need a range, 50 or less net carbs. That's total carbohydrates minus fiber. But a lot of people do good without counting it, just knowing that it's super low. So I'm fine with that too. And then breaking your long fast is its own kind of unique category. When you break your long fast, I have that whole section on it. So if you don't remember seeing that, make sure you go reread that section. But basically, you're eating really easy to digest food. And then over that 24-hour period after the really long fast, you're taking time, giving your body, because you got to reawaken that digestive system. The enzyme production has slowed down. The motility has slowed down. Your digestive system has been in deep repair mode, and it's got to wake back up. So if you eat too much too fast, I don't actually think it's bad for you. I just think you just don't feel great. And I say I don't think it's bad for you because I had an interesting conversation with some other opinion leaders that I respect, and the topic got brought up of, I'm pretty sure our ancestors, after a 3-day fast, hunted a meal, and they were not picking at it really lightly. They ate as much as they could. So it's an interesting concept. While most experts believe, and we still recommend, take your time when you're breaking that long fast, you could make an argument that is it better to eat quickly? I don't know yet, but I think we all know you feel better when you take your time. So that first day, take it easy. Bone broth, soups are like a really good way to break it in the beginning. And then after 24 hours, post 48, your body's rocking. And then the next full 4 days, it's back to normal eating.
If you guys enjoyed watching this video, and you're going to want to check this one out, I get into a deep dive over GLP-1 medications, peptides, and lasting weight loss, guys. We'll see you later.